afternoon, everyone. It's me again, Kentu Sankar, with another broadcast on a Saturday. Today, this is a special one, guys. I know I say that all the time, but this is a special one. But before we jump into everything, I just want to remind you guys to remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Black Empowerment Movement. If you're watching from Facebook, that's fine. If you're watching from Facebook Live, please also remember to go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like the video, also give it a share. We're going to be talking about some important topics today with Tarrant County District Attorney candidate Tiffany Burks. So we definitely going to get into everything with Mrs. Burks today. But hey, come on in the room, share this, tell a friend, tell a family member. This is an important discussion, whether you're watching live or you go down the road and watch it, because we're gonna be talking about some things that may help you decide with your decision on who you vote for regarding in Tarrant County regarding the district attorney seat, because that's an important, very important seat, and we're gonna get into that. Before we get into all the details with Mrs. Burks. Ms. Burks, introduce yourself. Tell us a little background about you. You know, to a lot of people in Tarrant County, you may be a stranger, may not, but just give people a little background about yourself.
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Hello to everybody out there. I'm Tiffany Burks. I'm running for Tarrant County District Attorney. I'm originally from South Oak Cliff in Dallas, and I graduated from Skyline High School. Go Raiders. Uh, from there, I went on to the University of Texas and then to Texas Southern University's law school. I graduated there in 1997, and my goal was to always be a defense attorney. That was the plan. I had seen a lot of injustices growing up, and I wanted to be on the defense side of the bar, making sure that people had their constitutional rights protected and had effective representation. But in 1996, I interned at the district attorney's office in Harris County, and one of my mentors came to me and said, you should consider being a prosecutor. And I said, I don't want to be a prosecutor. I want to be a defense attorney. And he told me something that stuck with me. He said, we need people that look like us on this side of the bar too. And he said that, prosecutors have the power to dismiss cases, to make charging decisions, to determine what cases are prosecuted and not. And he said defense attorneys don't have that power. So we need people that look like us on this side to make sure that we are adequately represented here also. And so I started prosecuting as soon as I graduated law school in 1997 down in Fort Bend County. And I started to learn the basics as a misdemeanor prosecutor, handling Class B and Class A misdemeanors. And then from there, I came up to Tarrant County in 1999. I wanted to be closer to my family. An opportunity came, and I started in 99 and didn't leave until I decided to run for this office last August. So I've done every kind of case you can imagine. I've worked with so many people from different walks of life. I feel that I have had an opportunity to affect change in the lives of so many people by trying to dispense fair justice throughout the county. And it has been a wonderful experience being a prosecutor here in Tarrant County. And I want to bring that type of leadership and that type of prosecution ethos to the DA's office as the leader of that.
Wow, amazing. And like you said, we definitely need more people that look like me and you on that side of the aisle. But so let's get into it. So your platform you're running on. I'm as a person that lives in Tarrant County. me personally, I want to know myself. I'm a voter. I haven't voted yet, so you're
Okay.
gonna win me over too. So what is your platform that you're running on? Just let's break that.
So my platform started with restoring the public service commitment to rebuild the public's trust in our criminal justice system. And it started there because towards the last couple of years that I was in the DA's office, I started noticing that a lot of major decisions were being made based on political reasons, and not what I felt like was in the best interest of our community. And so one of those things, of course, and I'm sure we'll probably talk about it, is the relationship between citizens here in Tarrant County and law enforcement, the police department. And I've had the opportunity to work with law enforcement for the last 24 plus years. And there are some really good officers out there who really care about the community and want to serve us. But there are also, just like in any profession, some people who are doing the job that are doing a disservice as well. And so I hated to see the erosion of the relationship between law enforcement and community. And I really feel like I am the type of leader that can bridge that gap and bring people together. And so that's one of the platform pieces. The biggest platform piece for me is, just having done this for this long, I can tell you that a number of cases right here in Tarrant County have an element of either mental health, drug addiction, or homelessness and poverty. And it pains me that our criminal justice system doesn't do more in providing resources and services for people in those situations. If we stop putting a Band-Aid on some of these really big issues, maybe we can affect change in our criminal justice system so that people who keep coming through our doors won't keep coming through our doors. I would say 50 to 60% of the cases that come through the DA's office have some element of mental health, drug addiction, homelessness, and poverty. And we see it every day when we have individuals who are arrested over and over and over again for small amounts of drug use, marijuana. People who come in over and over again for criminal trespass because they're homeless and they don't have anywhere to stay. And people who come through because they have mental health issues, and we don't do anything to try to make a difference in those issues. So when they come back through our system, it's just a revolving door. We let them out, they've gotten no help, they come back. And so I want to create the first ever diversion unit within the DA's office, where a group of lawyers can evaluate cases on the front end and determine if there is a need for resources and services for people who come through our door. Because if we can divert them from our prisons and jails and instead divert them into places where they can get help and resources, that's a win-win for all of us. So that's one of my biggest platform pieces.
Just to stay on that topic, like something like that, what you're talking about, would that involve like the cities in Tarrant County, like their municipal city council members to get involved to help partner with the DA? Help me out.
Certainly community leaders, elected officials can all come on board and help with this. But I will just share with you that in the year and 2 months that I've been campaigning, I have been out in these streets talking to as many people as I can about services that are already available right here in Tarrant County. There are programs and nonprofits that help people who have drug addiction, people who are homeless, for our veterans, people who have drug addiction problems, and they are there and ready and waiting to help. The great thing about these resources is that if we do it right, it won't cost the county a dime. These organizations are funded through grants They're funded through other mechanisms. And, why not tap into those resources that can help people so that we don't keep seeing them in our criminal justice system? To answer your question, whoever wants to help, nonprofits, civic organizations, faith-based organizations, we will certainly, utilize their help. But this is something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that's going to take a little while to get up and running. I would think maybe about a year, but it's something that I feel is necessary for our community.
I can definitely agree with doing work in the community. I see the same issues, and I think the biggest challenge is getting people connected to those resources. First of all, having the awareness about it, first of all, then getting them to those resources, whether because a lot of people just can't drive themselves there, is having a way to get them to these places. Like a lot of times people may know where to go, but how you get them there, like we have like transportation to get people to these particular type of places. So that's one of the as an activist, that was like one of my biggest challenges, like just getting people physically there, and then them having the will, to be get there. That's one of the challenges. Like, you can have all these different things and resources, but it come down to people want to, change within themselves and go, But that's a whole nother topic.
I'll just add to that it certainly is going to take a person who wants to do it, who wants the help, and that's the only way that it's going to work. With any treatment program or with any service that someone can obtain, they're going to have to want to work it. We can't make people do that, but we can certainly offer them that resource if they want it. And the people that want it, we want to be able to provide it.
Exactly. So I want to get into a hot topic. I like to go straight into it. We both live in Tarrant County for years now, and we saw what happened back in 2019. And the people want to know in the community, like, what would you do different regarding the whole Atiana Jefferson situation? That's a hot one. It's a tough question to ask, and people really want to know, how would you handle that situation differently, because it's a black eye for the city of Fort Worth right now.
It is. And so the way that I would handle that is you got to be transparent with the community. You got to be honest with the family. And you have to treat the case like you would any other case. And what I mean by that, let me start from the beginning when I say you have to be open, you have to be transparent. Whenever we have circumstances where the people who are in charge of protecting us end up hurting us, we have to do whatever we can do to make the community know that we are an organization that can be trusted and that will be open and honest about what's happening. And so in those circumstances, some things had happened in a Tatiana Jefferson that was good, which is they made the video available, for the public to see. And it's a very tragic video. I know everybody out here has seen it. But we have to maintain openness with the community and let them know every step of the way what we're doing in the case. We can't show favoritism to a police officer just because they are a police officer. And what I mean by that is right now in the DA's office, if a police officer is under investigation for an offense such as this, the grand jury lawyers, and for people who may not know what a grand jury is, the grand jury is the body of people that decide if a case should be prosecuted or not. And right now in Tarrant County, police officer cases, we call them critical police incidents, are presented to the grand jury, and we don't make a recommendation. Okay, we leave it up to the grand jurors to tell us what to do. And that's not right. And the reason it isn't is because if you or I commit a crime and a grand jury attorney takes that case to the grand jury, they're going to make a recommendation. They're going to tell the grand jurors, we feel like this case should be indicted or shouldn't be indicted. And so one of the things that we have to do to be transparent and being fair is we need to treat those cases the way we do all other cases. If a police officer case comes through our door and we feel that it is a case that requires indictment, we need to make that recommendation to the grand jurors. We are in the position to understand the law, understand the facts, know what we can prove, and we shouldn't leave it up to grand jurors to guess, right? So that's one of the things that I would do differently. The other thing is, when it comes to the families, we need to be open and honest with them about what the case looks like. We need to sit down with them on the front end and tell them all the pros, all the cons to the case. We damage the case when we tell families that we can do something or give them something that we may not be able to. And we also do damage to the case when we sell it short. So we've got to be honest with the family. We've got to be honest with the community. And we've got to treat these cases the way we treat all other cases in Tarrant County. And I think that's where we have to begin.
That's a great point. Because right now, just outsider looking in, it seems like it's a lot of craziness is going on with this case. Like, this happened in 2019, if I'm correct. It's already 2022. It still haven't been to trial yet. All the other high profile cases and already went to court, been over with, done with right now. And for the life of me, I just don't understand. I kind of do and I kind of don't. What is this big hold up? Like, what part these judges play, district attorney play, and it's a lot of politics going on that is just ugly right now. I just don't understand why we just can't get this to trial. Whether you believe the guy Aaron Dean is innocent or guilty, why are they dragging with this trial? It seems like it's just dragging. A lot of games being played, a lot of politics being played with the family. It's just not right, and I just don't understand. Maybe you can shine more light on what's going on, because I don't have a law degree. I don't know all the politics and the things that's going on where they removing judges and doing this, that, and the third. And I'm sure there's a lot of people like me feel the same way, and it just looks really bad.
So I will just say that it is always in the defense attorney's best interest to delay a trial as long as they can, because the longer it is delayed, the more opportunity there are for problems to happen. People die, unfortunately. People are not able to be found. Attorneys leave offices. All kinds of things happen. And so what I can say to you is, I don't think it is a concerted effort on the part of like a conspiracy to keep the case from going to trial. But I do think that probably every party can share in the blame of not pushing this case to trial in a more expedient manner for the sake of the community and for the family.
And people, and you may, as a district attorney, you may not have control, but people on the outside were like, well, if you're district attorney, how would you make that not happen? And your answer would be?
My answer would be that I would have a conversation with the court along with the defense attorney, and let the court know what my concerns are, which are, this case has been pending too long. The family is looking for justice. They are looking for resolution, and we don't need to delay this case any longer. And if I have to file motions and be in the courtroom at all times, then that's what I would do. And I would make sure that my prosecutors are ready to go to trial. That if there is a reason for a continuance, it won't be because we need it. It would be because the defense is requesting it. And if we're ready and if their request is an unreasonable one, then we would argue against it and tell the court that we're ready to go to trial, and that a Tatiana or whomever and their family needs to have a speedy trial and justice just like the defendant does.
Perfect. Good answer. Let's get into one of the big buzzwords that's always thrown around is criminal justice reform. I think people just throw the word around and don't know what it means, and they just say it, to be honest, won't throw any names out there, but for you, what does criminal justice reform looks like, and what does it mean to you?
What criminal justice reform means to me is what a lot of prosecutors who look like me have been doing for 20 plus years. Let me start out just by saying that there are not a lot of African American prosecutors. And if there's anyone here that is interested in social justice or interested in creating a justice system that's fair, try working as a prosecutor, because we need people that look like people from all walks of life working in our DA's offices. So I'll start with that. But to me, criminal justice reform is removing the stigma of the criminal justice system just being about incarcerating people, being just about tough on crime. We hear that all the time. I think reform is really about being fair and being just. And what that looks like, it just really depends on each case, each defendant, and each victim. It pains me when I hear, for instance, my opponent say that he's going to be tough on crime, that he's going to be asking for maximum sentences when people that come into his caseload are people who are undocumented in this country. It bothers me, because when you automatically say that you should get the maximum punishment, you're not doing your job as a DA. You're not seeking justice. You're seeking convictions, and you're seeking punishment. And that is not what a district attorney is supposed to do. So for me, criminal justice reform is tailoring the needs of the case, the defendant, and the victims to that case. And that's what it's all about. If you have someone that you should give a cashless bond to, because that's the right thing to do, that's what you should do. And so that's what it means to me. And I think I kind of agree with you. People throw the word criminal justice reform around all the time, but they don't really tell you what that actually means. And to me, what that actually means is what we are supposed to do as prosecutors, as district attorneys, and that's to see that justice is done and to be fair in the process. And when we're not doing that, we're not doing a service to the community.
And that's just a good segue to another point of mine. It's like regarding criminal justice reform. Like, what are your views on work release programs for small time offenders?
Yes. I think that we should always prioritize our low-level, non-violent offenses from our more violent offenses. You know, when you listen to the media and listen to the news, people would have you believe that murderers are running rampant in our community, that rapists are running rampant. And the truth is, statistics show that 50% of the crime is committed by 10% of the population. Think about that for a minute. So that means you have a small microcosm of people who are consistently and constantly committing violent crime in our community. Everybody else, you know, they're committing crimes and they should be held accountable for it. But to try to suggest that they're all out there, there's this large swath of people committing mayhem and murder and all of that is just an untruth. So I am completely for, when it comes to low-level nonviolent offenses, I'm completely for, I guess, if reform is the word you want to use, I'm good with that. I'm good with diversion programs, which is what I want to do. I'm good with cashless bonds in certain circumstances on cases like that. Because we need to put our priority on those more serious offenses and the offenses where there are victims of crime.
Man, nice. And this goes. I think you already hit on this point, but I just ask again. Like qualified immunity of officers. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So I understand the role of qualified immunity. And for people who may not know, what qualified immunity does is it prevents a person from being civilly held accountable when they commit some type of offense while they are on duty, basically. But that should never preclude the district attorney's office from prosecuting individuals who are working either within their scope or outside their scope, and they commit a criminal conduct. Again, we need to treat police officers the same way as we do civilians, and if they violate the laws, they should be held accountable just like the next person. So I know there's been a lot of discussion about qualified immunity and if it should go away, but I understand the need for qualified immunity, but I certainly would not ever allow qualified immunity to be used as a shield to prevent us from prosecuting people who violate our law, even when they're working under what we call color of authority as a police officer.
Perfect. And another thing, I know this Tarrant County, I know it's definitely different from Dallas County, but what are your thoughts on marijuana enforcement? You know, that's a nationwide topic, and I know Dallas and Tarrant County is totally different when it probably comes to this. But what are your thoughts on that?
So I have gone on record to say that, you know, Texas needs to just go ahead and legalize marijuana. I mean, we're headed there. That's where we're going. And I say that with a caveat. Just like alcohol, anytime you put an intoxicant in your body, and then you drive on our roadway, you unfortunately kill someone in an automobile accident. The fact that marijuana is legal should not prevent us from prosecuting someone who used poor judgment. Okay. But those small possession marijuanas, I mean, I am not going to make those cases a priority in my office. And I think that those are exactly the kind of cases that should go through our diversion program so that we can, you know, provide whatever services we need and then dismiss those cases. Because what I found over the years is that people I at the risk of having some people not agree with it, I will say that I don't know that I believe that there is marijuana for recreational use. So let me pause and explain what I mean.
Okay.
A lot of people use marijuana as a way to self-medicate for something else. And so now that brings us back to what I was talking about in the beginning: mental health, addiction, homelessness, and poverty. And so there are many people out there who smoke marijuana for medicinal reasons, right? And that's different. But I think the vast majority of people who smoke marijuana are likely smoking it because it helps with another need that they may be having. And so our diversion program can help with that. Those cases are not going to be a priority.
And you keep coming back to that program. I'm really interested in that program.
Possession of marijuana cases are the number one filed misdemeanor cases in Tarrant County.
Oh, wow.
Think about that. Think about if marijuana is legalized, how many cases you just knocked off our docket?
Wow.
A bunch.
Wow. And I think it goes back to politics. I think because of the area we're living in, they just want to keep that image of, oh, this is this type of area, this is this type of state. We won't do that, you know. I think it gotta be a balance, you know. Of course, yeah, you don't want to be too liberal, but at the same time, you don't be on the too conservative end. It's always that fine middle ground where it's a almost perfect balance, and I think that's one. Like you said, it'll just clear up so much in the caseload, you know.
I mean, smoke it at home. I mean, legalize it.
Yeah.
Tell folks, smoke it at your house, smoke it at your friend's house. But just know that if you get behind the wheel of a car and you lose your mental and physical faculties, you could be prosecuted.
Now, in your experience, like these cases, are people getting caught with just having it in the car or catching it while driving, smoking it? Like, what's
Usually it is a police officer who makes a traffic stop. You roll down your window. The officer smells marijuana. Because marijuana is illegal, you already know what's going to happen next. That gives the police officer the reasonable suspicion and probable cause to conduct a search in your car. And guess what they find? A lot of times they don't even find marijuana. They find other stuff like guns, cocaine. And so possession of marijuana is also a gateway for police officers to legally conduct searches on people and vehicles. And there are a lot of people who feel like that is a pretext, if you will, to search people's cars and persons.
Wow.
But that's usually how it happens.
Wow. And now this is more regarding the city of Fort Worth.
Okay.
So my thoughts, I think you're kind of familiar with it. How do you feel? I know it's been talked about a lot for a few years now. How do you feel as a DA with the city of Fort Worth having a stronger civilian review board? I don't know if you're familiar with what they have now or to talk about it. Like, would you like? I know it's been a hot topic in the city. What are your thoughts on that?
I know there's been conversation about a civilian review board for the police department, right? And I know that the Fort Worth Police Department is not a fan of it, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when we are doing the work that we are called to do and we are doing it correctly, it doesn't matter who's watching. And so I would ask the Fort Worth Police Department to consider it. Because not only is it holding the police department accountable, but it's also opening up a dialogue with our community so that we can share our concerns that we're having. One of the things that I will do when I become DA is I will have an advisory board, and it's going to include members of the community from different parts of the community. And when I say different parts, I mean from South Lake to Como, Grand Prairie up to April. And we're going to allow citizens and community leaders to have a conversation with us. And they can represent people in their communities to speak on their behalf about issues that they're having. Accountability is key for public servants. And that's what we are. We're public servants. And so we owe it to the people that put us into office to make sure that we are serving their needs wherever they are. The other thing that I do is I'd like to have town halls. There are 4 county commissioners. There are 4 precincts, commissioner precincts in the county. And I'd like to have one in each precinct every quarter. And that's where the community can come and say, Tiffany, we're having this issue on this side of town. Our homes are being burglarized. Can you do something? Tiffany, I don't feel like the police department is being fair when it comes to our youth in our community. Can you talk to them? Tiffany, you know, and I want to have that type of dialogue because I think it's important.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I think that's good. And I like people. I like to educate people. So I may already know this, but people may not know, how is the district attorney connected to all the different parts of the city? How you connected with working with, like you said, the county commissioners? How you connected with working with city council members and the sheriff and the chief of police? Like, can you give a brief breakdown of how you connected to everything else?
So the district attorney in Tarrant County is the chief law enforcement officer for the county. That means that police departments can arrest everybody that they want to, but ultimately the decision on charging who will be prosecuted is a decision that's made by the DA. So we work with law enforcement to prosecute criminal conduct, but we also work with law enforcement to make sure that they're following the rules and doing it the way that they should do. We are a check on the police department. And if we're doing our job correctly, if the police isn't doing it correctly, then we should be the authority that goes to them and say, hey, you didn't do that right. Okay? And so that's kind of the relationship with law enforcement. With the county, many people don't know that the district attorney in Tarrant County also has a civil arm. We represent the entire county in all litigation. So all of these jail deaths that you're hearing about in the sheriff's custody in the jail, my office would be responsible for representing the county in federal litigation should they be sued. Okay? Not only do we represent the county's interest, but we represent every county official. And this is the part that is so important because we represent every county commissioner, we represent the county judge, we represent the sheriff, okay? We represent everybody in the county. And it's a really important function because we have to make sure that the people within the county are following the law and doing things properly. Now, with the city, we're a county agency, so we really don't have any jurisdiction over what the city does. But we can certainly partner with them to make sure, because we do. We partner with the City of Fort Worth Police Department, the City of Arlington Police Department. So we partner with these other agencies, although we don't really have oversight over what they do.
Okay, perfect. Man, we went. I know we went all kind of over the place, but it all intertwines together. But my last question, this was my personal question right here. Have you read the book New Jim Crow?
You know what? I have not.
Okay.
It is on my list. So tell me why you asked.
Because a lot of things that we're talking about today, reform is talking about things that happen, like why they arrest, why our people, black people have a higher arrest rate is because of the money behind it, the politics behind it. So it kind of intertwines to a lot of things we're talking about. It's about reform, talking about the Biden administration back in the 90s, why, the three strikes, how that affected the black community, why it happened, the money behind why it happened. So it goes into a lot of details about that. Even if you saw on Netflix called 13, it was some. If you haven't seen that, it was based kind of.
I did watch that.
Yeah, so you did. So the book, New Jim Crow, go more into detail with the numbers and the figures and everything. But the Netflix 13 did a more of an overview of that book.
So let me just share one thing since you mentioned that, because we need to be educated, especially when we vote. There are federal laws, and then there are state laws. And so when we hear a lot of things in the national news about, for instance, President Biden pardoning everyone who had possession of marijuana, he was only talking about those individuals who were charged and sentenced under federal law, not state law. And so when people hear things like mandatory minimums and day for day, those are terms that are used in the federal system, not in the states. They're two totally different systems. But see, I just wanted to share that since you mentioned the show and the book. Because I think they talk more about federal law.
And a lot of times we do get that confused, because what goes on, states still have state rights and their own laws. So Texas is a perfect example of that. If any state is, it's Texas.
And that's why the DA race is so important, because the Tarrant County DA has discretion to run their office however they want within the law. And so if you have someone who is a tough on crime, maximum sentences, get the criminals out of here mentality, we're going to be same issue happening that we have been having happen for years. You've got to have someone with a different point leading the deal, and that's what I bring.
Man, and one final thought, I definitely want to give you the last word before we get out of here, because I'm probably gonna go vote after we get off.
Yay!
I haven't went yet. I said I'm not going till I hear, till I talk to you. So what is your parting thoughts to people, like, to get out and vote? Like most people, I'm gonna be honest. Like I hear people, especially young people, they definitely say, "Hey, what voting gonna do? What voting gonna do? What changes gonna be made? We still see the same old stuff." They gonna say, "Hey, promise you the world," but then when they actually get in office, they don't do a shit. They don't do nothing at all.
Right.
it's part of the people that vote. We don't hold people accountable once they get in office. That's another
Yeah.
topic. But a lot of people feel like, hey, people just make promises just to get their vote and don't try to make impactful change based on what they're voting, give a vote for. So what are your parting thoughts on encouraging people my age, well, younger people, because I forgot I'm pushing 40 now, but younger people, or people my age too, to get out and vote?
Listen, I talked to a lady on the phone the other day. She's 46 years old. I called her because I noticed that she hasn't voted in a long since she was 18. And when I asked her why she vote, she said because it doesn't change anything. And you know what I said to her? I said the reason it doesn't change is because you don't vote. That's when change happens. When people go to the polls and make their voices heard. There are so many people that are listening to this right now who are saying the same thing you just said. I'm not, why should I vote? Nothing's going to change. My vote doesn't matter. But I'm going to tell you something. I moved to Tarrant County in 1999. Since 1999, every DA, every judge, every county judge has been a Republican. Think about it. Let that sink in. This year, we have a slate of very experienced, a diverse group of Democratic who are running for judges, for DA, for county judge, for county commission. If you want to make a change in your community, now is the time. Go vote. You can't affect change. Stay home, sitting on the sofa, watching TV. I read somewhere today, somebody said, talk is cheap, voting is free. It's free. Just take your driver's license down to the polling location and vote. There were, I looked at the numbers, 31,000 Democrats who are registered voters who did not vote in 2018, just out of the southern sector of the county. I'm talking south of 20. I'm not talking about north, just south of 20. If those 31,000 people got up and voted, every Democrat on the ballot would win. And why not change the direction of this county from where we've been going since 1999 and give the Democrats a chance to do something different? And you know what? If you vote us in and we don't do what we say, guess what you get to do? You get to vote us up out. Right?
Yeah.
So I know that people are disillusioned. Apathy is real. I mean, I hear people every day talking, but we're not going to change anything by sitting at home. I'll just say it. Our ancestors fought, bled, and died so that we could have the right to vote. And we don't take advantage of our constitutionally protected right to vote. It's the voice that we have. We need to use it. So to everybody listening, please go vote.
Let me ask you this. You just made me think of another point. So, how can I word this? What are people getting for their votes with this change? Like you said, we could, like Tarrant County. That's it locally. Tarrant County, the judges and everything all been per se Republican. My thing is, what are we going to get with putting Democrats in there? Because we seen nationally and statewide, Democrats don't really necessarily improve or do things for our community as well either. So on the local level, the county level, voting these particular Democrats in, what are we getting? Or you can just speak for yourself. Well, you pretty much spoke for yourself.
Yeah. I'll tell you what you're getting. You're getting diversity. That's what you're getting. You're getting people that look more like the community that we serve.
Okay.
So if you don't believe, go look at, go to the Tarrant County Republican website and look at everybody that's running this election. Then go to the Tarrant County Democratic Party website and look at everybody that's running on the Democratic side. And I think what you're going to find is that the Democratic Party slate looks more like and represents what the community actually looks like. And that's important because you have to have people in these positions who understand people from all walks of life. You just got to vote.
Man, and that's important. Like you said, and in fairness, you did say, like, if they don't do what they say they're gonna do, just
vote them out. And you know, I'm a Democrat, and I certainly want people to vote Democrat. But if there is a Republican out there that you feel like you want to vote for, go vote for. At least be an educated voter. You know, I have Republicans that are voting for me because they actually went online and they looked at my record and they looked at my opponent's record and they said, Tiffany, she's worked with more people, she has more experience, and people are tired of all this red versus blue.
I'm not neither one. I try to look at the facts of what each person can bring.
That's right. People are tired of this red wave, blue wave. People want candidates who are going to take care of the people of the community and not all this political stuff. And so that's what my campaign is about. That's what many Democratic candidates I'm running with. That's what their campaign is about. And so I'm just saying, go research the candidates and just go vote. Just vote.
All right. Y'all heard of people. Go vote. So, Tiffany, I just want to thank you for coming in. A lot of people are like, man, how you get in touch with Tiffany? She came to the Doc bookshop. I think Ricky Clark invited her, and I connected with her there at the bookshop. She came into the community, exchanged numbers, and that's why we here now. It was just like that. So Tiffany, I would give you all the props for being very open. You did not know me from nobody else, and you was like, hey, I'll come on. She kept her word, guys. That was like 2 months ago. She like, we'll change numbers. I texted her, said, hey, it's November. You remember you told me we was do this interview thing, and she came on. So that's all, that won points with me. So, but I want to thank you for coming on, Tiffany. I appreciate it. And I'm definitely about to go vote now. And guys, you should go vote if you live in Tarrant County. Go vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. If you feel it in your spirit based on what you heard today, go vote for Tiffany. Most definitely do that. But before we get out, guys, please remember to subscribe to the channel, Black Empowerment Movement. Share this video, especially if you live in Tarrant County. If you live in Dallas County, share this video, tell a friend, like the video. Let's spread the word. Hey, the polls are open. Early voting is going on right now. So go out and vote. Don't wait till the last minute where the lines are long. The lines are not long now, I guarantee you. So go vote now. And other than that, guys, we out of here. All power to the people.